close to 90% of the value of Tesla could be attributed to robotaxis in 2029. This will totally transform the business model from essentially one-off vehicle sales with a little bit of software to a recurring revenue stream. And we think it'll have very attractive margins. Autonomous cars will not only change how you and I get around, they'll be so much safer, but they'll also be quite profitable to Tesla and very meaningful for shareholders.
So, Tasha, by 2029, $2,600 a share, that's 4 years from now. From where we are now, I mean, a lot's going to have to happen, right? And I got to wonder, just in terms of scaling and also manufacturing, they have this new system that they, I think, tried to implement, right, which is more unibody, fewer parts, so faster, cheaper, et cetera. They've abandoned that, apparently. Is that going to affect rollout of robotaxis?
I think that the rollout of robotaxis is actually not dependent on the manufacturing of the next generation vehicle. I do think that the next generation vehicle will be used for the robotaxi platform, but they can turn their current fleet, Tesla's been saying this for a while, that they can turn their current fleet into robotaxis as well. They could take cars coming off of lease. They removed the option to purchase, for instance, the Model 3 off of lease for that reason. I think so that they can seed their robotaxi network. I think that this could be started in the next 1 to 2 years is our assumption. We already see robotaxis today from companies like Waymo, which is Google's effort, but it's happening at a very small scale. So I think that Tesla could be the first player to really bring this technology to scale.
Although I have to say that autonomous right now, it looks like the Chinese are a little bit further ahead in terms of, especially in terms of testing the technology. So, something that Kathy said in that soundbite a couple of seconds ago caught my ear, and that is SaaS, software as a service. It strikes me that going down this whole robotaxi route, which is what Musk seems to want to do, right, does a couple of things, right? It means, you're not thinking of a car, an EV, as a commodity. You're thinking of it as a service. And you're also thinking about volume, that is wholesale sales, not to individual customers, right? Fleet sales, because that's what robotaxis are likely going to mean, yes?
Yes. And first, I'd actually push back that there's more testing happening in China. I think there's a lot of news out of China, and it's very aggressive. It wants to be, electric vehicle autonomy forward. And I think that's the right decision. And that's what the government wants for sure. But actually, the U.S. has been pretty surprisingly lenient when it comes to testing this technology because it's decided at the state level. Tesla, for instance, they already have over 1 billion miles cumulatively driven in their full self-driving software. And then on the software as a service model, absolutely. So we picture this being a fleet sales model that could be the end consumer companies could pop up, and this could actually be a profitable business model, particularly for companies today that, actually might have to change what they're doing if they're tied to the traditional gas-powered car ecosystem. That could be an option, or it could be a startup that owns and maintains these fleets. But ultimately, we picture Tesla taking a cut off of per mile revenue, much like Uber does today. But I actually think that they could take a higher cut than Uber does today because one, the underlying cost structure is better, and then I think that if Tesla wholly owns and operates the network and is able to charge Uber and Lyft equivalent prices, again, especially in the early years, we think in the first 50% of all miles that will go to robotaxis, that is where all of the economics will be. So that's why it's so important to be early to scale here.
Tasha, can we circle back to the $56 billion compensation package? And is